What's going on, Jimmy here live. Today we are watching a summoning salt video, and what is that video? It is the history of Super Mario 64 speedruns, but blindfolded. You guys enjoy? Please drop a subscribe, drop a like, and drop a comment. YouTube, you know what I mean. Also, go subscribe to Summoning Salt because bro makes amazing content. We can at least get like 100 people to go sub to him. It'll be worth it. So, thank you. Appreciate it. Let's begin the video.
Super Mario 64, one of the most iconic speedruns of all time.
Very true.
Top level runs are beautiful. There's incredible movement, bizarre glitches, and awesome tricks. It all adds up to a super popular speedrun, giving
Indeed
Mario
it does.
64 the impressive legacy it has. But
Pretty sure-
I've got a secret to share.
I'm pretty sure Super Mario 64 is one of, if not the most speedrun game ever. Maybe Minecraft has overtaken it. I'm not sure, but you know.
All the gameplay you've just seen was performed with a blindfold on. This might sound too insane to be real, but for the past several years,
Wow, these people
players
are
have been
crazy.
trying to speedrun Super Mario 64 without looking at the screen. How is this possible? How do you take a three-dimensional game and not only play it with your eyes closed, but
play
practically
it
make it look
fast?
easy? Let's take a journey inside the minds of some of speedrunning's most
Holy
impressive players.
fuck, Lois, I'm
Welcome to the
coming.
world of blindfolded Mario 64. Blindfolded speedruns aren't a new concept. For years, blindfolded runs have been a staple at Games Done Quick events, and runners have even grinded at home to optimize blindfolded world
Bro just got a bag on his head. Dedication.
records. But those were usually for simpler games. Compare that,
that guy said,
to
"Mario, take the
64,
wheel."
with its 3D gameplay and wide open levels. Getting consistency with this seemed out of the question, and for many years, nobody bothered trying. But then, we arrive in 2017, when the main character of our
Decent
story
year.
comes onto the scene. Meet Bubzia.
The GOAT. The GOAT.
Bubzia had seen players like Runner Guy 2489 and
It looks
360
like he looks like he was being held hostage back there.
Prism play blindfolded 3D games before, and it inspired him to see what he could do in Super Mario 64. Bubzia started by figuring out a few basic stars blindfolded. From there, he expanded to the rest of the game. He slowly built up his skills throughout 2017. And finally, by October, he was ready to try for the first full game completion of blindfolded Super Mario 64. Here's how he did it. First off, this was a 16-star run of the game. Collecting at least 70 stars
For those of you that don't know, I used to, and maybe someday I will come back, 16-star speedruns. My PB was like 18 minutes and 45 seconds or something. Wait, was it 1925? Okay, I'm just trying to give myself more credit than I am due. My PB is a 1925. Too bad, chat. All right, let's continue.
is the intended glitchless route, but that was not going to happen with a blindfold on. Instead, Bubzia performed a popular speedrunning route. Collect 16 of the easiest stars, then tackle a couple glitches to skip to the last stage. That was much more manageable than going for 70 stars. Right from Bubzia's first inputs, you can see his general strategy. He ran forward until he heard Mario hit the wall, then turned right and kept going. It was slow, but these inputs were hard to mess up, and he eventually made it to the cutscene. In Bob-omb Battlefield, Bubzia worked on getting to the top of the mountain for the first star. He used the camera angles to his advantage. He'd run forward till he hit an
I just remembered. Was anyone here for this? Was anyone here when I tried to get 1 star in Super Mario 64 blindfolded? I feel like that was one of like the first Jimmy Here live videos I ever did. It was chaos. It was such chaos. Because the way that I tried to do it, I tried to have my chat be able to help me by doing TTS. I literally just kept getting trolled because some people would use TTS and be like, oh, you need to go left. And so I'd go left. And then somebody else would be like, no, the other left. And so I'd turn the other way and then end up going the wrong fucking way. It was really fucked up, but it was fun.
An object, then carefully adjusted the camera and kept moving forward. This normalized his movement and lined him up so he'd always end up running to the same place every time. After gradually inching his way up the slope, he got to use audio techniques on the boss. He backflipped to pick him up, then counted the audio of Mario's footsteps to know when he was in the middle. This lined him up so he was perfectly underneath the star when it spawned. Bubzia ended up collecting 3 stars in Bob-omb Battlefield, and they all followed the same idea. Very simple and safe setups to reliably work his way through the map. He then headed to Whomp's Fortress, where he ultimately picked up 5 more stars. He used a plethora of strategies to get these, slowly backflipping up the long ramp, running from wall to wall, and even using a bit of muscle memory. His setups were so normalized that whenever something went slightly off script, he usually couldn't recover and either died or restarted. This happened 9 times throughout Whomp's Fortress.
He killed himself!
Bubzia continued through the game, slowly but surely collecting stars. While a lot of his strategies looked safe, they required an unbelievable amount of memorization and skill to do blindfolded. None were harder than the Bowser stages.
No. I never wanted to fuck the rabbit from Super Mario 64.
He needed inside-out knowledge of the level to ensure he could platform without looking. He had a clever strategy for the Bowser fight itself. By constantly letting go and re-grabbing his tail, Mario gradually moves forward. Eventually, you'll collide with the bomb, and skip having to somehow aim a Bowser throw without being able to see. After an hour and 25 minutes, Bubzia had collected 15 stars. He had a precise setup to grab Mips the rabbit, and then counted Mario's footsteps to know when to turn through the hallways. To clip through the doors, Bubzia had more setups that involved re-grabbing Mips repeatedly.
Because it was pissing me off. I didn't say I want to fuck the rabbit.
Doors after a few minutes. But then, he arrived at the hardest part of the entire run, Bowser in the Fire Sea. There are so many cycles, moving objects, and obstacles all over the place, that even with the best setups, Bubzia couldn't consistently make it through. He had a few smart strategies to help. By listening to silly kicks, he could tell where the platform was in its cycle. A longer distance between each kick meant it was moving down.
When's the shower stream? That's not a thing.
And a shorter distance meant it was moving up. And later on, by backflipping onto this box, Bubzia knew that even if he took damage in the lava, he was lined up with the heart so he could recover. Safe strategies like these helped, but it still took Bubzia nearly an hour to get through Fire Sea, with 11 deaths along the way. I think I would be
so upset.
But eventually, he cleared the level, and after 2.5 hours, he was in the home stretch.
Where's the gym stream? Hopefully this Tuesday?
Next up were backwards long jumps, and there was no big secret to doing these blindfolded. He just had to line up and hope his mashing got him through the door and up the stairs. And finally, Bowser in the Sky. It's quite similar to Fire Sea in that there's several cycles you have to deal with, the hardest being the 2 elevators right at the very end. But thanks to a combination of backflips, audio cues, and normalization
I know as they're playing, I'm just gonna keep watching because this is just like a long video.
The final Bowser fight requires 3 throws, and Bubzia's strategy for the first 2 was letting Bowser run at him, then dropping him right into the bomb. But that's not an option for throw 3.
Bomba!
So, he had to just randomly spin Bowser and hope he hit a bomb. One random throw away from history being made.
I mean, after 3 hours and 11 minutes of being blindfolded, I think I would have made that noise too. Oh, he's gotta spawn the star. You just gotta spawn the star. And then you gotta find it.
Please. It should be to the left.
As long as he doesn't fall off the edge.
No, that's not good, that's not good.
Oh. Yay! That's crazy.
Yes, guys!
Guys, we were here! We were here!
Bubzia had shocked the world. He could literally beat Super Mario 64 with his eyes closed.
Damn.
Probably
he had
one of the
13
craziest
viewers. He
gaming
deserved way more
achievements
back
ever.
then. I'm sure he's got much
Now,
more
his
now,
run
but
did
holy
take over
shit.
3 hours, and he either died or restarted 33 times across the game. There was room for optimization,
33.
if Bubzia so desired, but he didn't. He was the only person in the world capable of doing this,
True.
and he was happy to move on with his life.
Bro
Little
said,
did
I did it,
Bubzia
I'm
know,
out.
While he was working on his 16-star run, there was another player on the other side of the world doing the exact same thing. Zserf.
Evil clone.
Neither player knew of the other's existence, and Bubzia's completed run came as a big surprise to Zserf. He was still working on individual stars. This other guy was way ahead of him. But Zserf wasn't deterred. He talked with Bubzia, learning some of his strategies while improving on his own. He found different
Guys,
routes
can we get
to
a
take
colon
and
3 in
ways
the
he could
chat?
complete certain stars faster. By the time he started full game runs in early 2018, he was a much improved player. Zserf ended up beating Bubzia's run by a few minutes on February 2nd.
Sick.
And a month later, he took a full hour off the world record. Mario 64
Wait, that's insane.
completed blindfolded in an hour and 58 minutes. A big part of the improvement was the fact that Zserf simply died less than Bubzia.
Oh.
He had to restart
It's
just
simple.
15 times across the run.
What are they, dumb?
To Bubzia's
Just don't
33.
die and you'll go faster.
But his route through the game was also quicker. For one thing, he opted to collect both Peach Slide Stars. He had a fairly safe strategy to leap over the edge and make it to the end before 21 seconds. That's fast for a
Blindfolded? You can do
blindfolded
that?
star. He also switched out a couple stars in Hazy Maze Cave to save a bit more time. But beyond the route changes, Zserf was simply faster than Bubzia. He used more audio cues to his advantage. For instance, in the Bowser stages, he could tell where the rotating platforms were based on what part of the background music was playing. And just
That's
all over the run,
crazy impressive, man.
Zserf's strategies were a bit riskier, running up a slope rather than backflipping, and using fewer.
I already know that if you told this to like anyone over the age of 50, if you were like, yo, this guy just made history and beat Super Mario 64 blindfolded, but it took him months and months of mastery, they'd be like, kids these days, they should be fighting in the war, being doctors and shit.
Setups.
Like, nah, man, this is just
Meanwhile,
dope.
as Zserf was lowering the
This is
Mario
just-
64
this is
blindfolded
dope, man.
record, Bubzia was working on other blindfolded
This is objectively
games,
better.
most notably Pokemon and Kingdom Hearts.
Like, in terms of
he planned to come back to
worldwide
Mario
importance,
64 eventually.
there's
but if
like
nothing
being
else,
a doctor
these other
or a
games were still
teacher
helping him improve
and then
as a
learning to
blindfolded
speedrun
speedrunner.
blindfolded.
He picked up on different blindfolded
I don't make the rules.
strategies and ideas while
I don't
he
make
played.
the rules.
And as the months passed, Bubzia realized there was one technique that might really help with Mario 64.
What if he
Something
opened
that would
his
make
eyes?
his movement look much more fluid. Almost like
he
he was playing
realized
with
there was one technique to make him go way faster. He took off the blindfold.
his eyes open.
Wait,
That
what?
fall,
Wait,
Bubzia came
wait,
back.
what did he just say? Wait, hold on. Why did he say that? Why did he say with his eyes open? What did I miss?
Meanwhile, as Zserf was lowering the Mario
shit, I
64
went back too far.
blindfolded record, Bubzia was working on other blindfolded games,
Like,
most notably Pokemon and Kingdom
I
Hearts.
missed it.
He planned to come back to Mario 64 eventually, but if nothing else, these other games were still helping him improve as a blindfolded speedrunner. He picked up on different blindfolded strategies and ideas while he played. And as the months passed, Bubzia realized there was one technique that might really help with Mario 64.
Opening his fucking
Something
eyes.
that would make his movement look much more fluid. Almost like he was playing with his eyes open.
Oh, okay. So he
That
was just
fall,
agreeing with me.
Bubzia came back to Mario 64, implementing a trick called beat counting. Beat counting is essentially using the background music's beat as a metronome to time your inputs to. Now, it's important to note that this isn't the
Yo,
same
count
as
the
a
beat,
music
chat.
cue. That's where you wait for a specific moment in the song to use as a cue. Instead, beat counting is simply having a consistent frame of reference, in this case the beat of the song, to help time different inputs.
Oh, he's kind of breaking it down.
For example, you can run forward, then know to jump after 3 beats, then press jump again after 4 more beats, and so on. This can help make otherwise
literally became a living
sections
metronome.
become nearly trivial, as it replaces insane muscle memory with consistent inputs. Beat counting was first implemented in Super Mario 64 by a player named Katoon, who used it in his 70-star run. It helped him all over, allowing for fluid movement that looked like a visual player at times. After seeing it utilized in other speed games, Bubzia decided he had to try using it in 16-star. So, in September 2018, he came back to Super Mario 64.
Oh shit.
He wanted to see how much time he could take off of Zserf's record of 1 hour and 58 minutes.
Alright,
How much could beat counting help?
I'm gonna do a prediction. He's gonna get 1 hour, 23 minutes, and 14 seconds. No, I lied. 48 minutes and 55 seconds.
Well, right away, Bubzia saved time on the very first star. He picked up a box and navigated into the corner of the gate by beat counting. By then setting it down on top of Mario's hitbox, he got pushed behind the gate and was able to collect the star.
The GOAT?
This is an obscure old trick known as box clip, and predates the more traditional bomb clip used in modern visual runs. New strategies with beat counting were used throughout the game. Often, these helped big time with consistency as well as being faster. The slide in Cool Cool Mountain was now beat counted, and Bubzia had a safer MIPS grab thanks to beat counting too. But the biggest time saves with beat counting were the Bowser stages, especially Fire Sea. As you recall, this is probably the hardest level in the run. It took Zserf over 17 minutes to get through it in his world record. But here, Bubzia used a beat count for the entire stage developed by Katoon. Highlights included a section in the middle where he navigated without adjusting the camera. Since he couldn't see anyway, there was no point in changing the camera angle.
That's
He
true.
still
That'd be
knew
sussy
exactly
if
where to
he
go.
changed the camera angle.
Bubzia flew through the whole level, and ultimately, he completed it in just 2 minutes. A 15-minute time save over Zserf. That's the power of beat counting. Bubzia was cruising. The run was far from perfect, but after demolishing Fire Sea, he knew he was way ahead of Zserf's world record. He couldn't see his exact pace, of course, but he knew it had potential to be a
That's
big
gonna be
record.
one of the craziest parts about doing one of these runs. You have no idea, like for the most part, if you're ahead of pace.
The
You just kinda
backwards
have
long
to,
jumps
like-
went well, and thanks to beat counting and
No.
other audio cues, Bowser in the Sky was quick too. Once again, it all came down to hitting this last Bowser throw. And then he could find out just what type of pace this really was.
Yes! Yes!
Damn, he wasn't as excited this time.
Sublime! 53 yes!
Wait, what did I guess? Did I guess 48? What did I guess? What was it? 48.55? Shit, I wasn't that far off.
Yes!
That's not bad.
This was ahead of even his wildest dreams. Not only was it sub-hour, but it was sub-hour by several minutes. The whole game beaten blindfolded in 53 minutes.
That's insane.
The run did have its slow moments. He died a handful of times, and the worst part was when he had to intentionally drown to restart in Dire Docks.
Mario!
But being able to cut a world record in half did not happen very often.
Goated.
This was everything Bubzia wanted and more. Beat counting had changed blindfolded Mario 64 forever. But once again,
The guy in the
Bubzia
chat,
decided this was a good place to stop.
Craigasm. Oh!
Despite there still being room for improvements, he remained interested in exploring other blindfolded speedruns. So, he stopped playing, and for the next year, his blindfolded world record remained unchallenged.
Damn.
But of course, Bubzia wasn't going to stay
Hi,
away
Deb.
for long. 16 star was his bread and butter. And if you've seen my other videos, generally people who dominate a game can't help but come back to it time and time again.
It's bread and butter,
Bubzia
baby.
wanted to see
Also, Jordan, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Pan, thank you for the 5 months of Prime. Good to see you. Arrow the Bull Wolf, thank you for the 7 months tier 1. Sorry I missed you. Thank you very much, homie. Thank you, guys.
just how low he could take the blindfolded record.
Hi, chat.
So, after a 10-month break, he spent the summer of 2019 rerouting the run, changing up the stars a bit and trying to optimize his
Chat, can I let my dogs out?
By August, he was ready to start up runs again. And over the course of just 11 days, he did this.
Oh shit. Yo, he played Mario? No fucking way. Oh my god, he played Mario. I don't know why this montage just looks funny with him in live.
I'm not happy.
Damn!
I'm not happy at all.
4355! Damn! A rebirth, thank you for the 2 months of Prime, homie. Boomba! He hit a boomba! Come on, man.
Waited.
Come on. Come on. Come on.
Are you kidding me?
Bro, no! That's so tragic!
No, dude.
Why is he going that? No! Oh my god. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Look at him. Look at him. He's starting to believe. He's really starting to believe. Man, that's some insane shit right there. Like, this movement is crazy to not even have a visual reference. Look at how happy he is. That is the face of joy.
Unbelievable grind. Thanks to a combination of beat counting, incredible muscle memory, and a ton of skill, Bubzia had beaten Super Mario 64 blindfolded in under 40 minutes. This run had one big mistake. During MIPS, he got lost and had to quit back to the menu. It cost about 2 minutes, so a 36-minute run would be the limit. But there were no major mistakes anywhere else. 38 minutes was incredibly optimized. I've always
thought that the texture of the floor here in the Mario, it looks like Reese's Pieces. My fat ass sees these and go, Reese's Pieces.
It was exactly what he was looking for. Bubzia really was the king of blindfolded Mario 64. Hardly anyone else had tried it, and those who had were well behind him. He could do with his eyes closed what others couldn't do with their eyes open. And this 38-minute run was his magnum opus. Bubzia was finally done with the grind. No one else even approaching his times. And then, 3 weeks later, something very interesting happened. Completely out of the blue, a new submission appeared for the blindfolded Mario 64 leaderboards. The player's name was Nobori56, and he was claiming to have performed a 35-minute blindfolded run, a new world record.
Out of nowhere?
Nobody in the community had heard of him before, and having someone brand new instantly claim a big world record was suspicious, to say the least. And when the community watched his run, it only got stranger. He wasn't beat counting at all.
Oh no, this guy's legit, actually.
In fact, it seemed like nearly everything he did was muscle memory. It looked an awful lot like he could see what was happening on screen, at least somewhat. Blindfolded speedruns can be easy to fake. If you can get any vision through your blindfold, it makes the run magnitudes easier. This was a tough one to call. Maybe Nobori was just an unbelievable blindfolded gamer. Or maybe he was a cheater. Over the following few weeks, Nobori continued submitting runs, and gradually, everything became clear. Nobori was 100% legit, and he was actually that good. So here's the thing with Nobori. He has an absolute knack for developing muscle memory. Once he does a trick with his eyes open, it doesn't take much practice until he can consistently do it without looking.
That's insane.
Therefore, the idea of beat counting never even entered his mind, and he was able to perform nearly everything
Bro
faster.
just said, I'm built different.
Even right from their first movements in the castle, you can see the difference. Bubzia had to set up his moves and work his way to the first door, but Nobori adjusted the camera at the perfect moment to do this. Basically indistinguishable from a visual runner. How about getting
That's
to Peach's
so absurd,
slide?
man.
Genuinely impressive, even with eyes open.
Whoa,
It was more of the same with the stars.
That's
Nobori
so
went for
unreal.
super fast strategies.
If any
no
of
beat
y'all
count setup.
ever want to know how difficult it is to do something like that, and you think, oh, you know, it wouldn't be that hard, I could probably do that. Try playing a 3D game, blindfold yourself for like 2 minutes, and like assume you know where you are. Take your blindfold off, you will not be where you think you are. That shit is just insanely difficult. It's so hard.
Setups necessary. Even though he died a few times, the time save for moving faster more than made up for it. But as you might expect, the place that Nobori improved the most was the Bowser stages. When Bubzia played Bowser in the sky, he kept moving but didn't do anything too flashy. Super impressive for being blindfolded, but nobody would mistake it for a speed run. Nobori, on the other hand,
There's no way, man.
standing left side and elevator skip. It's really hard to believe that all this is possible while blindfolded. But in case there's any doubt Nobori couldn't see, at the end of every run he took off his 18 blindfolds. No way anyone could see through all that. He was simply so much better than any other blindfolded player. He was running while the rest were walking. Nobori had achieved a 26-minute blindfolded run of Super Mario 64. Simply inconceivable just a few weeks ago.
Inconceivable!
There's one more moment of Nobori's run I want to talk about. The final Bowser throw right at the very end. This throw had a few different strategies over the years. Bubzia's initial method was to just blindly throw and hope it hit a bomb. But Zserf realized that since the whoosh sound occurs at the same time in every spin, you could sync up your joystick to the spinning and know exactly when to release Bowser to hit a bomb.
Holy moly.
This was the strategy that Bubzia preferred to use, but Nobori took it a step further and used something else that Zserf had found. By pausing during the whoosh sound, you could listen to the echo and judge whether or not Mario is facing the bomb.
That is so wild.
If he's not, then you simply unpause and try again. But if he is, then you can immediately unpause and throw Bowser. It'll hit the bomb every time. This is a brilliant example of turning a seemingly impossible task, landing a blindfolded Bowser throw, into something relatively consistent. Even though he was miles ahead of everyone else, Nobori still felt he could save time over his 26-minute run. He died a couple times and had a particularly slow MIPS grab. So, a few months later, Nobori came back and improved the record to 25 minutes. A run that would have been even faster had he not failed to grab Bowser's tail and had to redo the fight.
Damn.
And just 2 days after that, Nobori made one more improvement. This run was truly incredible from start to finish. He collected the first 11 stars quickly, with no substantial time losses. He died once in Hazy Maze Cave, but it didn't cost him badly. His MIPS grab was instantaneous, right in front of the door. His Bowser stages were all fantastic, his BLJs were super quick, and on the last fight, he grabbed Bowser's tail and landed the third throw. No retries needed.
$24.03. Dude, most people can't even
24
do
minutes
that.
is a genuinely respectable time with
being
your
able to see.
eyes open. Nobori had optimized this run to insane standards. Hard to believe it was all actually possible. As for Bubzia, it was tough to accept what had just happened.
Oh,
He'd been the
poor
king of
Bubzia.
blindfolded Mario 64 for years.
Bubzia,
And Nobori had
no.
demolished all of his times.
Damn.
When Bubzia tried doing Nobori's
Oh,
strategies,
no.
he could eventually pull most of them off, but his consistency was poor. Definitely not good enough to complete a full run with them. Bubzia had to accept that he wasn't going to be beating Nobori's record. For the next year, blindfolded 16 star had no activity. There was no point when the world record was this good. Players focused on other categories with less optimized records. And unsurprisingly, Nobori took the top spot for those too.
That
Just pure
bastard.
domination. But eventually,
up, Raspberry?
everything calmed down. Nobori
Bro
stopped
said,
playing, and the rest
I'll
didn't
just
bother
take 'em all,
trying to beat his
actually.
times.
I'll just take
It
them all.
almost felt like he had killed blindfolded Mario 64. But then, in October 2020, Bubzia managed to get 16 star into that year's Awesome Games Done Quick. This was the first time anyone would be showing off blindfolded Mario 64 on such a big stage. Bubzia may not have been on Nobori's level, but he wanted to put on a good show. So, he knew he had to get practicing. Bubzia
back,
didn't have any
baby.
illusions of trying to take the record. Instead, he focused on playing for fun, looking for new strategies and not taking things too
Just a little
seriously.
bit of fun.
And maybe he can improve a bit on his 38-minute PB. Since Nobori's crazy muscle memory strategies were out of the question, Bubzia focused on beat counting strategies. He found faster ones in Womp's Fortress and Cool Cool Mountain. And on Bowser in the Sky, beat counting allowed him to make a faster elevator cycle at the start. But despite lots of practice, he was still slower than Nobori and he was dying more.
Oof.
The improvements slowly started to come in. First, a 37-minute run, and then nearly a month later, a 35-minute run.
Okay.
Both of these had substantial time losses on the BLJs, so Bubzia knew he had the potential to go a few minutes lower. But this is exactly what he was looking for. Even if he wasn't competing with Nobori, it was still nice to see some improvement. And as the weeks passed, Bubzia kept getting better. His movement was faster and he was dying less often. He started going for Lakitu skips sometimes. It wasn't very consistent, but getting it at all while blindfolded was amazing. This was a clear improvement. Nobori hadn't played the category in a long time. Maybe Bubzia had the chance to close the gap even more. But instead, right after Bubzia's new PB, Nobori came back.
Oh, come on. That's so foul. He said, oh shit, you getting close to my record? Not today. Nah, I don't think so.
He made it seem effortless. Nobori's strategies were somehow
Yo,
even
Henzoid, thanks for
faster
the 2
than
months
before.
tier 1.
To get to the top of Womp's Fortress, instead of teleporting, he jumped off the slope while sliding to make it up.
What the
He switched up a few stars
hard to
and
do
had
for me,
a
even
brilliant
just, like,
strategy to hit the
man.
Talon Star in Shifting Sandland. And most importantly, it was just incredible that he was doing all this while blindfolded. Occasionally, he'd have a moment that looked obvious, like when he struggled to collect stars that were right in front of him. But he'd turn around the next moment and do something like this. Mind-blowing. Bubzia had improved, yes, but he was not on Nobori's level. It almost seemed like he could lower the record at will. But he decided to stop here. With the world record down to 23 minutes, Nobori had once again killed the competition in blindfolded 16 star. Bubzia knew he wasn't beating this. Nobody was beating it. So instead, he spent much of 2021 focusing on a new challenge, routing a blindfolded 120 star run. This was a massive undertaking, and took up most of his gaming time throughout the year. Yet, even though he wasn't playing the more competitive category in 16 star, working on 120 star still helped him improve at the game. He was optimizing the stars for speed, and as a result, found some new strategies. For instance, in Bob on Battlefield, he found a consistent setup for bomb clip, the iconic trick used to get behind the fence quickly. It saves 20 seconds, and looks pretty darn impressive given it's performed blindfolded. After practicing 120 star for several months, Bubzia came back to the game's shorter categories in late 2021, quickly sweeping through each one to lower his PBs. In 16 star,
how does he do
managed to get
Other audible cues and controller vibration? Yeah, so there's controller vibration, and what he does is he puts the controller up his asshole, and so he knows when to move.
After this, he went back to working on 120 star. And
It's actually
Nobori's
pretty
record
legit.
remained as safe as ever. At this point, he'd held the record for more than 2 years. Bubzia hadn't been able to catch him, and nobody else was within 15 minutes of him. As 2022 came around, it was really seeming like this was Nobori's record to keep. He could simply do things with a blindfold on that nobody else could. At least, nobody who had tried so far. The only hope of beating Nobori was somebody new coming along, who had their own set of incredible blindfolded skills. Someone like Hendy Man.
Oh, this guy! I don't know who this guy is.
In late 2021,
Hey, yo.
Hendy Man became infatuated with blindfolded Super Mario 64. That September, he became just the third person to beat the game blindfolded in under an hour. By
Shit.
January, his time was down to 35 minutes. And by March, he lowered his PB to right behind Bubzia. Impressive improvement from a relative newcomer to blindfolded gaming. Hendy's playstyle was like a hybrid between Bubzia and Nobori. He didn't beat count with numbers, but didn't fully rely on muscle memory either. Many of his fastest strategies involved music cues. He'd mess around in a level with his eyes open and figure out how to time certain actions to the music. Eventually, he'd find a series of inputs that gave him the best consistency and practice it relentlessly until he could do it blindfolded.
Jimmy, is it true you're 5'5"? No. What? Where did you hear that? I'm 6 foot. Why are you guys just typing shit?
Hendy got really good at this, and it paid off with a 28-minute run. He fell behind Bubzia while collecting the stars since he died a few times, but he was actually faster than Bubzia down the stretch.
Stop
it was
spreading
gold split after
misinformation.
gold split for Mips, Fire Sea, and Bowser in the Sky. After hitting the last throw on Bowser, he knew he had a big PB.
Let's go! Holy sh!
A couple months later, Hendy got on another good run. It started with both Lakitu Skip and Bomb Clip, and then he gained big time in Bowser in the Dark World.
Damn.
Unfortunately, he struggled and then died in Hazy Maze Cave, died twice in Fire Sea, and died on Bowser at the very end. That's 4 deaths. Yet he still PB'd by a full minute, and moved ahead of Bubzia into second place. Hendy had gotten really good. Despite several minutes of time loss, the rest of his run was so fast that he couldn't help but PB. Hendy's movement and speed was incredible, and it was honestly starting to look a lot like Nobori. The only thing he didn't have was Nobori's consistency. These mistakes made up the bulk of the difference. It was safe to say that Hendy was officially a world record contender. And over the next few months, things would get quite interesting. Hendy started practicing the last few tricks he needed to learn, like standing left side and elevator skip. And most importantly, he worked hard to build his consistency. He knew that he had the skills to get this world record. He just needed to hold it together for long enough and get it all to line up in one run.
Oh shit, you know when the music goes like this, it gets crazy.
I don't know what just happened. I think I fat-fingered A.
He what?
Dude!
Yeah!
Damn!
You did Super Mario 64 16-star blindfolded in 26 minutes.
Shit, bro, catching up. Oh my god.
Jujutsu are blindfolded in 25 minutes and 11 seconds.
Ruh-roh.
You did Super Mario 64.
That's fucking gross.
That's 3
Personal
days
best.
in a row.
Improved your run.
Hendy was closing in. This was a 24-minute run with 2 deaths, and other scattered time losses throughout. There was easily a minute worth of improvements he could make. But Hendy was getting exhausted. Doing hundreds of runs with your eyes closed gets monotonous, and he enjoyed looking for strategies more than he enjoyed doing runs.
I thought that was an animal.
So, even though he was so close,
Monotonous.
Hendy decided to take a break from 16 star, and instead focus on blindfolded 1 star,
Raspberries, thank you for the
an
tier
even
1 sub.
shorter category. Meanwhile, Bubzia was watching everything Hendy did in 16 star. He was amazed at how close he'd gotten to Nobori. And after completing the world's first blindfolded 120 star run in May, Bubzia was ready for a new challenge.
Oh shit.
He'd improved so much while on the 120 star grind, and had gotten especially good at searching
How often do you
for new
stream on Twitch, Jimmy?
strategies.
Like yeah, probably.
Bubzia had
Like,
turned into
I
a
think
new
so.
player. His old 28-minute
Probably.
PB in 16 star was in a distant 3rd place. In
Man.
July 2022, he embarked on a quest to change that.
Okay, Bubzia, I see you.
Bubzia still couldn't rely on muscle memory as heavily as Nobori. That meant his gameplay would generally be a bit slower as he had to set things up more. But if he could make up the difference with faster strategies, maybe he had a chance at this.
Yes, I do speedruns. I've done 16 star, and I've done getting over it.
He and Hendy found new tricks
That's it, though.
all across the run, like triple jumping off the womp while going up top,
Okay,
and
that's
long
insane.
jumping straight across the gap in Dark World. These small improvements began to add up, but the heavy hitters were in the final 2 Bowser stages. Bubzia found a beat count to reach Nobori's elevator cycle
I'm not a
in Fire
speedrunner
Sea,
in bed.
cutting out his muscle memory strategies while matching his speed. And in Bowser in the Sky, Bubzia decided he had to commit to going for everything. Standing left side, elevator skip, and even doing a triple jump dive onto the rotating platform.
My bad.
Bubzia knew this would help make up for some of the speed and movement difference, but would it be enough? That July, he got on a run that fell about 45 seconds behind Nobori after the first 8 stars. After accidentally quitting out of Lethal Lava Land and missing the star in Dire Docks, his deficit rose to over 2.5 minutes. But he did manage to gain time on the BLJs and executed his new Bowser in the Sky strategies to perfection. The end result was a 25:49, 2 minutes behind the record and 1 minute behind Hendy.
Oh shit.
Bubzia was a changed player. Look, he hadn't held the record in 3 years
2D
now. Nobori
2D
had
games
always been
are,
just
in my
too dominant
opinion,
to
and
beat.
probably most people's opinion,
But this run was proof
way
that
easier than 3D
finally
for the most
he
part.
was fast enough. The world record was
Blindfolded.
within reach. If Bubzia could clean up a couple blunders in the middle of the run, then he could finally get the top spot back. Bubzia got off to a great start. He hit all his new strategies through Dark World and had a 20-second lead over Nobori. In Lethal Lava Land, he looked like a visual runner collecting the 8 coins. No hesitations. He nailed getting on the submarine in Dire Docks and had a beautiful Fire Sea. All of a sudden, Bubzia had himself a deathless run into the BLJs.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Chat, he's starting to believe. Oh! Boom! Oh! Boom! The king is back on top, baby.
After 3 long years, Bubzia was back on top. It had taken a monumental effort to beat Nobori.
Look at that, almost
It all
word for
paid
word.
He still couldn't use muscle memory the way Nobori did. Nobody could. But through years of strategizing and improving, he was able to make up the difference
That's
anyway.
crazy, bro.
Congratulations poured in, and Bubzia pondered what to do next. A sub 23-minute run was definitely within reach. But ultimately, he decided a 23:17 was good enough, and moved on to other categories. In the time since this run, Hendy and Nobori have been inactive from blindfolded gaming. Bubzia, on the other hand, after taking a break for a few months, he returned to 16-star by early 2023. And ever since then, he's been on a quest for a sub 20-minute blindfolded run. Sub 20 is a milestone for visual runners. Taking the blindfolded world
My best
record
is
there would be completely
1925.
insane. But that's what Bubzia was determined to do. It all started when Bubzia and Nico, the category's current 4th place runner, began developing a way to perform blindfolded LBLJ.
Bro, what?
This trick is used in top-level visual runs. By jumping into an out-of-bounds area in the lobby, it's possible to then precisely do a backwards long jump that sends you into Bowser in the Dark World, an area that normally requires 8 stars. Once there, you want to collect the 8 red coins to obtain a star, so that you can later head straight to Whomp's fortress. They found methods to complete LBLJ and the red coins blindfolded, but obviously it was a major difficulty increase. And when combining that with other tricks like Owlless and improving movement everywhere, they reasoned that a sub 20-minute run was indeed possible. But possible and realistic are 2 separate things. In mid-2023, Bubzia decided to make a push for the sub 20. Quickly though, he found that the LBLJ route was far too inconsistent. After abandoning it, he focused on optimizing the rest of the run, and managed to lower the record down to 22 minutes.
Chat just saying anything for real.
But to get the sub 20, Bubzia knew the LBLJ had to be implemented. In January 2024, he took another look at the route with Nico and another community member, Honeybeef. They realized it would be faster to skip Cool Cool Mountain entirely, adding another star in Shifting Sandland and Lethal Lava Land instead. This saved another 20 seconds, and now Bubzia felt that he had to commit to LBLJ. The upside was too good to pass up. On February 15th, 2024, Bubzia managed to land LBLJ and the Reds in his
He's playing the song. He's playing the Summoning Salt song. That means we're about to see something crazy.
fastest time ever.
Oh shit. Oh,
he struggled a bit with
shit.
the new stars, dying once each in Shifting Sandland and Lethal Lava Land. But even still, he was hitting most of his new strategies. He had a clean Fire Sea, then got both BLJs first try. After flying through Bowser in the Sky, Bubzia had a chance at a big world record.
Uh-oh.
No!
Soiled it!
No, I think
I'm predicting Summoning Salt is about to say something along the lines of, but then he did this, and then the music's gonna kick.
I threw it. Yes! Okay, at least second try, man.
Wait for it.
Yes!
Wait for it.
A 21-minute run with 2 deaths and a missed throw. It wouldn't have quite been a sub 20, but clearly the run still has room to go lower. And this 21:48
Wait, does he
is
not
where
say
the
it?
record stands today.
No! I
Bubzia
was
is still
wrong!
actively pushing for the sub 20.
But you didn't say the
And
thing!
if Hendy or Nobori come back,
No!
they can certainly get there too. It's unreal to see the progression from Bubzia's first blindfolded run 6 years ago to what he and others can pull off today.
No!
They went from barely limping through the game to flying through like a visual runner. All this difference in just 6 years. I don't know about you, but I can't wait to see
Virtual
what
would've said it.
another
That
6
might be
years of
true.
progression will do to this run. Thanks for watching. For a behind-the-scenes look at how I made this video and storylines that I couldn't
Alright
include.
guys, go subscribe to Summoning Salt.